one more time for the road. It's your NFL pregame show brought to you by Sterling Furrowh, ladies and gentlemen.
Not me, dog. Buffalo Media Network in the house today.
That's true.
We're just not on our YouTube channel because we're having difficulties, but this show will post it on the YouTube channel. So make sure that you're locked and subscribe to the Buffalo Media Network. How you doing, Rob?
Dog, we got the biggest day of the year, the culmination of what we love so much. We started this back in July, drudging through a season here. I mean, you could even go back further than that. Draft was in April, free agency in March. It's been a whole year. And you don't even want to watch the damn football game that's on today.
I don't. I really don't. And you know what? It's weird because I had to check myself this weekend. You know, it was like if I remember the expectations for this football team coming into the season, I probably feel different about today. Because if I was looking at those expectations, I'm like, I didn't expect too much. I did not expect an AFC Championship game. But here we are. Then the Chiefs have a chance to win number 3 in a row. So I don't like it at all. I can't stand the Eagles. So it's like two terrible people. I just don't know what to do with myself, dog.
I understand the pain of not having gotten it done. That I get. And it's going to be hard, not in my head, picturing what it would look like to have Josh Allen in the all whites running out of the tunnel with the patch on his jersey and a stadium full of Bills fans. Like, it's going to be hard not to picture that. That being said, I don't know, man. I'm just such a football freak. I would never not watch the game. Never. I mean, listen, my formative years, Tom Brady was quarterback for like the entire time. And he went to half the Super Bowls that were in my formative years.
Jeez.
If you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Right? Over his 20-year career, he went to 9 of them. He won 7.
Too many. It's too many.
Yeah. So I'm used to having to watch somebody I fucking hate in the Super Bowl. And, like, I don't know. It's sad that you live that way, that you wish everybody was the Yankees, but they're not. And so
that's true. That's also very true.
Here's the one thing I do know. If they ever get there, if they ever win it, how much more it's going to mean to me than it does to anybody else, you know? So I don't know. I would never think of not watching the game. But are you actually legitimately considering it, or are you just saying that and there's a brisket in the smoker right now?
You know my life all too well. You know my life all too well. Because I think a lot
of people say it. I think a lot of people just say, I don't even want to watch the game. And then, like, you're going to have your Super Bowl nachos and whatever.
The brisket has been in the Traeger since 6 p.m. yesterday. And right now it's sitting at like 170 degrees. So I need it to get to about 202, 203, and then I'll wrap it for an hour. And then I'm going to cut it open. I'm also making candied yams, okay, and smoked mac and cheese.
Now you're talking. I'm not a yam guy.
Because you hate all food from the South because your palate has just been Colorado. Just
what are you talking about?
Your palate. You've been indoctrinated into the Colorado way of eating instead of your roots from Buffalo, which is good food. Now you're a straight Coloradan. Tell the listeners that you eat granola and kale. Just to make sure everybody knows that.
Okay, first of all, you are painting Boulder as the entire state of Colorado. And for you, Mr. I live in Colorado Springs, you should be the number one know that crunchy granola is a Boulder thing. Manitou Springs, maybe, but that is not like the entire state of
Hey,
Colorado.
hey, everybody out there doesn't know that. So I have to paint a picture for people to understand, Rob. So
Well, let's talk about other pictures that you like to paint that are incorrect most of the time. You sent me a tweet today from Dov Kleeman.
super credible.
Yeah, that's why I'm pointing out that the tweet is from Dov Kleeman, who is a known aggregator and doesn't do any actual reporting himself. And it doesn't attribute his story to any credible football writer, does it?
No, it does not.
Okay, interesting.
However,
all right, go ahead. Tell us what it says.
Okay, first of all, let's go with what it says. So Dove, however you want to pronounce it today, asshole for some, came out and basically said that the Cowboys are having internal discussions about trading a specific pass rusher by the name of Micah Parsons. And the reason why I sent you that is because you and I had a discussion last week about potential pass rushers that should be available. And I kind of mentioned, hey, it kind of makes sense if the Dallas Cowboys were thinking about trading Micah Parsons just because they paid Dak, they paid CD, and that cap space is going to be limited. We know that Jerry Jones is about ticket sales, and he's not about necessarily building a roster through and through. So as we talk about with the Bills and the upcoming contracts that they're going to have to pay, I just think Micah might be more available than we thought. And so I guess maybe now that there's rumblings, we're talking about a pass rusher who hasn't really shown up in the playoffs when he's gotten the opportunity. Although he's elite, he's got the highest pass rush win rate of any defensive end. He's really good, but injuries is something that you can point to with Micah Parsons. But as a Bills fan, that's something that you should be interested in. I mean, that's kind of the theme for this offseason thus far. So he could be available. I mean, I kick the tires on that all the way. Pay that man. You hate it. You hate it.
I don't hate it. I hate that you did this to me. Because much like the Justin Jefferson thing last offseason made sense, he doesn't have a quarterback anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to sign a deal unless they can prove to him that they've got a plan, all this kind of stuff. Like, all right, I mean, I guess it makes sense. And what ended up happening?
Well, but so you're pointing to one instance where there's a whole bunch of other trades that happen.
So, yeah, it's not that I don't want it. It's that I don't think it's going to happen. But you've ruined me now.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
any pass rusher that the Bills acquire is going to be measured against Micah Parsons.
And it should be. It should be.
Why?
Because that's the missing piece. It's not the only piece, but it is a very big piece to kind of, you talk about hedging your bets with the Bills and against the Chiefs, man. You need that guy, Von Miller 2.0, but just stay healthy and younger. So, yeah, I mean, we gotta shoot for the stars here, buddy. Got to.
I've got no problem with shooting for the stars. I'm just saying every other move is going to feel like a disappointment now.
Yeah, probably.
A 25-year-old Micah Parsons is, I don't care what it costs, frankly. I don't.
3 firsts?
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, I don't know if he costs that much. 3 firsts. I think 2 and some change.
You get him through another 7 years of his prime?
Yeah.
That takes Josh Allen to 36 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Put them together for the rest of their careers.
And you mentioned this early in the season, and this is kind of the same but very different in so many ways. But the fit that Travis Hunter would have in his defense, from a different perspective, if you put Micah Parsons in the defense like the Bills, I mean, that would be, he fits the. I mean, Rousseau is your dominating, well, not dominating, but he's your edge defender, stops the run. He's your power guy.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't get credit for being big, but he is. He's that edge setter. Yeah.
And then you got Micah Parsons, who's bendy, quick, has power at the point of attack. I mean, he'd be perfect in this defense.
And don't you think he could learn a couple things from Von Miller? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that he's not already great, but somebody who's reached that mountaintop to kind of shepherd him a little bit.
It'd be really nice, man. It improves your team speed overall. I think that's something that the Bills are lacking on both sides of the ball.
I also think he's versatile. It's not like you're probably going to have him coming off the edge of the majority of the time, but we've seen him rush from inside. We've
Yep.
seen him rush from a linebacker position. We've seen him drop into coverage. Like he
Yep.
does it all.
Oh yeah.
And that's that's the incredible athlete that he is that allows you all those things. So when you get a multi-tool like that, there's a lot of different things you can get done. Whereas if you go get a guy like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, that's it. They're on the edge and they're rushing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. I wish I could be a fly on the wall. I don't know. You remember Hard Knocks this past offseason or the one they were talking with the Giants, and just hearing the conversations with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. I want to be in those conversations with Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott just to kind of feel what they're thinking. I mean, because
all right, well, let's have that conversation then.
let's have it. Let's have it. You're never one player away, as Brandon Beane said, but I don't know if I agree with that. Like, I do feel like the pass rusher is the thing that you need. I mean, if you want to go corner, you can throw that in there too. But
yeah, everybody is so hard on for getting another pass rusher when it was corner that cost you that game.
I think they work hand in hand, right? I think if you had either one, I think that would have helped you tremendously. But yeah, he got cooked. Elam got cooked. But I mean, it was a lot of stuff. I mean, third down. I mean, we don't even need to get into that because I'm still reeling from that loss. But yeah, cornerback is a massive need that no one's talking about enough. Like we get the pass rush lacks, but bro, CB2, who are you gonna have? Who are you gonna put back there? You and I, we talked about the available options in free agency. Ain't really much there.
Charvarius Ward is your best option.
And
solid corner.
The age, man.
I was gonna say I don't. But listen, this scheme allows for an older cornerback to have a good last couple of years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate it for the right price. He apparently wants to play on the East Coast and does want to play for a contender. He went through all that stuff with his daughter.
Yeah.
Passing away. And so they want to leave San Francisco, not because they have anything against San Francisco, but like his wife just doesn't want to be there anymore, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, so if we're getting back to Micah Parsons, and we will break down the Super Bowl, we're going to talk Super Bowl. We'll talk a couple bets, all that kind of stuff, like we normally do for a pregame show. But we're just kind of having a little bit of fun right here talking about Micah Parsons. I have one more scenario I want to throw out to you, but I want to do it after we do this. Let's talk about what realistic trade compensation would be for all three of the big three pass rushers they could go get. Okay? So, Max Crosby, what do you think that deal looks like?
I think he could be had for a first and some change.
I was going to say a first, a second, and some change.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, I think like if you did like a first and 2/3, I think that gets it done. A third this year, third next year.
Thirds. For Max? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I could see that. Or a first, a second, and like a sixth and a seventh.
Yeah, something like that, right? Or a pick swap or something.
That's probably equivalent value. We're basically saying the same thing.
Yeah.
For Myles Garrett, what do you think the trade compensation is?
I think it's probably the same, but you probably would have to do another day 2 pick the following year or something, like a first and a second this year and then a second next year. I don't think 2 firsts. I mean, he's 28.
29.
29.
He's older than Crosby. Crosby's 27.
Yeah.
I think he's hurt his own trade value, which is good for the Bills. But I think it has to be either 2 firsts, which I don't think they'll get, but I think that's what they're going to shop him for,
Oh, and if you're the Browns GM, you have that's your starting price, right?
which would lead you to a first and 2 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to be asking for 2 firsts and they're not going to get it.
Yep.
And so it would lead you to a first and 2 second round picks and change probably. And then for Micah Parsons, what do you think it is?
Hold on, you're not gonna do Trey Hendrickson?
I mean, you can throw him in there if you want.
Trey Hendrickson is your. I don't think a first gets him. I think you can get some day 2 picks in there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they took all day 2 picks for him, like 2 seconds and a third.
Yeah, that sounds about a good compensation
like
package for him.
Or just for a first.
Would I do
Hendrickson?
That? Yeah, I'd do that.
Straight swap for a first.
Just a first. I'd do that right now.
No change, no second day picks, no players, just Hendrickson for a first.
And give me Brown, the running back.
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, they don't need him.
Then you're getting into getting a second or third round pick involved.
I'll throw them. I'll throw him. I'll re-sign our third down back and give him.
How about
Ty Johnson?
How about James Cook and a second for your 2 players?
I'll do that. I mean, I'm all about trading James Cook. I love James Cook. I just don't want to pay a running back, right?
I don't want to pay him.
I don't want to do that. And he's going in his last year. I think you strike while the iron's hot. And I think that if you're gonna, it's the New England Patriots way where they would just off players to other teams that they're in their last year of their contract. I mean, they're gonna have to start making some decisions as such. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I mean, that's what they did last year.
Yeah,
right?
true. Very true. So, I'm a little late on that. And I do like some of these running backs coming out of the class this year. So,
all right. So Micah Parsons then.
Okay. I think is 2 firsts at least.
At least 2 years younger than anybody else that we've talked about. He's 4 years younger than Garrett. I think he's 4 years younger than Hendrickson, and I think he's 2 years younger than Crosby.
Yeah. I'd do it in a heartbeat, dog.
So
2 firsts and some change?
I think it's more than 2 firsts. I think they're starting at 3 firsts.
I can't do that.
You got to talk them down.
I'm not doing that.
25 years old.
3 firsts?
25 years old.
3 firsts.
I'd think about it.
That's a lot, man.
I'd think about it, and then I'd try to talk him into 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and some change. I'd give up.
I'd do that. I'd do 2 firsts and 2 seconds. I could part with that.
This year's firsts, next year's first, both this year's seconds. So I'm paying for it all in 1 year except the second first round pick. And then, maybe a swap in the 6th or something like that.
And then I'm adding 3 players to my scouting department. 3 more coaches or scouts. Because, look, I think if you're going to do that, just put some more resources towards your scouting department so that you can just kind of hedge your bet there because you're going to have to hit on those.
I'm not worried about their scouting department.
It's been really good. I would just add a little more to it because you got to hit on those
anybody
picks.
In the offseason this year.
You got to hit. You got to hit. You got to keep hitting. So
I don't disagree with you, but you're giving up 2 first round picks, right? Like
in 2 seconds.
And especially with the defense as it's constituted, mostly coming back next year, to take one real strong run at it next year and then decide what contracts you want to pay, I'd be for doing that.
Now, here's a question though: would you have any contract jargon about his social media presence?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Right?
So that's a tough one. He does make a lot of money on that podcast, and he pops off on that thing.
He does.
He says some shit.
Yeah, so I mean,
which you got to wonder, is that part of the reason that they're open to trading him if they are? you know.
Yeah, and maybe I could just be feeling that way just because of the dig stuff that happened last offseason. I mean, he all but came out and said that Dak wasn't in his top 5 quarterbacks. I mean, he's being honest, but that's still your quarterback. Like you expect him to say something that is accommodating to Dak Prescott. So yeah, I'd have reservations about his mindset, or maybe it's just a discussion. Hey, dude, like you can do that, you can do your thing, but can you like not do all that other bullshit, I don't know. I don't know how those discussions
I
will
don't
take
think you can
place.
ask him that. I mean, maybe if you're giving him the monster extension that he's going to get,
They would have to. That the
you
trade
can.
doesn't even work if they don't even. It starts with an
Well, I mean,
extension.
you can tell him we will work it out. You
Sure.
know what I mean? But you don't have to have the deal done per se. But it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to now do to you what you did to me. So my first question as I set this up is, what is Greg Rousseau worth in those trade packages? Does he replace a first? Does he replace a second? Like, what is
A
what is he
second.
worth to you?
A second.
He replaces a second.
Yeah.
All right, so Micah Parsons, we're talking about how he's 25, take a big swing, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you trade Greg and go get 2 of them, right? Because you have the ammo, like the ammo that we're talking about spending on just
Okay. Okay.
Micah Parsons, you could use to get both Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson and trade one of them Groot. Or both, I think, with the way that he's hurt his own draft stock, Max Crosby and Myles Garrett. So if you send a first round pick this year and a first round pick next year to those 2 teams,
Okay.
Vegas would probably be okay taking next year's because they're still rebuilding, right? Like they need a little bit of time here. Cleveland is probably going to want this year's because, well, it might be, yeah, I don't know. You could try to talk one of them into taking next year's first round pick, right? Then you have 2 seconds this year.
Okay.
You can throw a second at each of them, or 2 seconds at one and Greg Rousseau at the other. So if you tell Cleveland, who still thinks they've got a good team and want to, try to do something with it, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw Denzel Ward saying if Garrett leaves, he wants out.
That's crazy. I get it, though. I get it.
All right. So trade each of them a first and a second and throwing Groot, and it's Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett coming back and Max Crosby coming back.
Oh, no, ain't no way that. I mean, that would be awesome, but there's no way. There's
You've
no
got
way.
dog. You got enough picks to get crazy here if you really want to.
But from a cap perspective.
Well, here's the thing, and you would tell Miles this, and you would tell Max this, like, you guys, we're gonna bring you in on the last 2 years of your deal, and then we'll try to figure it out. But like, this is for winning next year.
Yeah, and if their motivation is just winning, I mean,
which you've heard the 2 of them during Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
All the quotes, all the different shows that they're on. The quotes are, it's just about winning. Like
Let me ask you a question though, on a Browns note, because if you're the Browns, what do you do? I mean, you got to trade these guys. You might as well just say, hey, we're going to load up for the next 2 years. We're going to load up these picks and go after the best quarterback next year.
Yeah, I trade out of my spot right now.
Because in a heartbeat.
There's only 2 quarterbacks that are worth taking in the first round, and you're in one of the spots. So,
well, I don't know if I trade out.
Even if I'm just swapping with the Giants and moving one pick back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing, Chicago did that deal with somebody. I can't remember.
Carolina?
Was it Carolina? No. This was years ago. This was like Trubisky year, I think. But they literally swapped back one pick. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not saying you trade all the way out of the, top 10 or whatever. But if I'm the Browns, I'm calling Oakland, I'm calling New York. I'm saying, you want to get up to 2? Cool. Give me your first next year from, you know what I mean? From 6.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you are the Browns, even if you went back to pick number 3, you can get another pass rusher at
And I
3.
I I hate to say this cuz, I hate giving him a whole bunch of money that he doesn't deserve. But I think if you cut Deshaun Watson next year, it's like a Russell Wilson type cap hit.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if you cut him next year, it's a $99 million dead cap. Split it over 2 years, that's 50 million each. If you post June 1 him next year.
Hmm.
So you can survive with a $50 million dead cap hit. Bills had a $70 million dead cap hit this year. So if you want to redo, you got to put a bunch of dead cap on your cap this year, right? So like you got to take the Myles Garrett dead cap hit this year for trading him, the Denzel Ward dead cap hit for trading him. All those need to happen this year. And then next year you take 50 million, 50 million over the next couple years.
Okay.
Split that dead cap in half. And
Okay.
so um, that's a way that you could convince the Browns maybe to take next year's first round pick.
Yeah, man. On one note, if you're a Cleveland fan, you're sad, but you should be excited about your future because you can kind of just rewrite the ship here. I mean, they made some bad decisions. They probably need to fire their GM too, but that's for another day. But I mean, there's opportunities for them to grow. Arch Manning is going to be a hot topic next offseason. Um, just accumulate picks, man, and go for it. But yeah, those 2 players on the Bills.
Yeah, so like back to the original question. I mean, do you put the two of them together, any of the two of them together, and try to make a run at it here with literally a 1-year window? It would be.
Absolutely. You have to because guess what? It fixes your defense. Your defense is now fixed.
Yeah, could you imagine Myles Garrett and Max Crosby going after people? Like, oh my God.
It's fixed. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, it's getting me excited.
I wouldn't and as much as I like Groot, I can't stomach paying him $25 million a season for that production.
If you could get him around 20, 21,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think that's what the Bills are going to try to do. And I think maybe that's what you do is you go to him early in this offseason, like now. You say, sign this, or we're going to try to deal you for Myles Garrett and Max Crosby.
Yeah.
95,
I
98.
think if you were to approach the Raiders with the idea of Groot and a day 2 pick, I think that gets it done.
Do you? You just said you just said he was worth a second rounder.
He is.
There's got to be a first in there somewhere, doesn't there?
Well, I don't know, man, because you're getting young. Groot is super young. He is a very young edge rusher, and it's not like he's a scrub. I mean, he's good. He's just not elite, right? I don't think it breaks the bank if you want to dangle him for Max Crosby. I know Trey Henderson. It's not a straight up trade, but I think that's another one where it's a 3rd round pick that the Bills don't have, and Groot for a swap.
Hendrickson and Crosby, or Hendrickson and Garrett. Like, don't you feel great about that going into next year? Because I would.
Oh man. Yeah, I think you still need help at corner. Like your plan obviously cannot be Kyer Elam, right? So there are some guys in the draft I think that you could take a look at later in rounds and hope that you can develop them. I do recall there was one season with the Panthers where they took back-to-back corners mid round and worked out for them. They're gonna do something similar to that this year. I think. I don't think I don't like the free agent class, so I'm looking at the draft to fill corner. You got
I
mid-round picks.
understand you don't like the free agent class, but I think you still got to bring one in.
Would you bring Trey White in, not as a starter, but in if he's your third corner? I'd would much rather have
Pennies,
had.
maybe.
I would have much rather had Trey White in that situation than have Kyrie Elam run out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but literally for veteran minimum. I mean,
Absolutely.
him in LA was real bad. It was better with the Ravens, but still not what you want to see.
Or Dane
So-
Jackson, and Dane Jackson
No,
would have been
I'm
better than
tired of these
Kyrie.
recycled names.
Well,
dog.
that's what I'm saying. You
But
go
so
get Stephon Gilmore. I'd be
Right.
happy with that.
That's fine. Yeah, somebody like that, or like I said, Javarius Ward or DJ Reed or
DJ Reed
somebody-
would be solid.
right. Like I need a guy, and I don't know if like DJ Reed would probably be your starter, but I think you need a draft pick and a vet there. I really do.
Yeah,
Because what do you have behind Kyer? I mean, that's the other thing that we're not talking about is that now if Kyer gets a concussion or Benford gets another concussion next year, who's coming in?
yeah, it's tight there. I'm okay with Kyer playing out his contract with the Bills. They kind of don't have a choice but to bring him back. But man, like the fact that he just hasn't progressed, that's terrible. That you don't want to see that. And what they have now is a cornerback who is just unsure of himself. That was the same thing that we saw after year one. He had an injury, but I mean, he's just unsure of himself.
Well, but there were moments where you felt like he was figuring it out. But
He gonna figure it out somewhere else.
all right, so we've done a lot of Bills talk here, but we are going to get into the Super Bowl.
Hold on, there's one more thing.
Okay.
Matthew Smiley. The Bills let go of Matthew Smiley, special teams coordinator, which Sean McDermott had a glowing endorsement. Well, rather saying that, we're bringing him back. He's done a good job
and
for
then
us.
Everybody revolted, and then he fired him.
You think it was reactionary due to the public opinion?
No, I think it was, I don't know who else I'm going to get, and he must have a guy that he's thinking of now.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see who that's going to be. I can't sit here and pretend like I just know special team coordinators.
As all these coaching names have settled a little bit, and staffs are getting put together and so on and so forth, there must have been a name that he likes and or trusts that became available.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it did sound like he was going to come back. I am thrilled that he's not, however.
Yeah.
He did not do a great job. He got burned on 2 fake punts.
Yeah, you can't have that.
It should never happen. And
So
and like one of them was McDermott saying we should have been in safe on that one post game. You remember that?
I do.
Like you can't have a special teams coordinator make that mistake.
Yeah, man.
But go ahead.
I don't know, man. I do like it just for the fact that they're being proactive. Like, I think a lot of times the Bills in the past have kind of held on to players too long, coaches too long. I love the shift that you're seeing them be more proactive about certain things. I just think that shows maturity in your top 3. That they're willing to do that. So kudos. That I'm glad they made a decision. Now let's see if they make a better coaching hiring decision because they need it at the special teams. Even though it's not offensive defensive coordinator obviously, but I think there's going to be some turnover. I mean, offensive coordinator, he ain't going to be here next year after next season. He's gone, so they're going to have to figure that out again.
You better hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that depends. I mean, you hope the Bills have a good year and he's gone.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if it goes the Ken Dorsey way, then that's
oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
But I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, I feel confident about that. So yeah, Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's reset now and talk some Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
Got me all in my feels about the Bills. You had to kick off with that.
Yeah.
The matchup,
Uh-huh.
the Eagles, the Chiefs. From a historical standpoint, I do like that you get rematches in the Super Bowl. And it's been easier because the Chiefs have made it every goddamn year. But I do like that you have a little bit of that bad blood from 2 years ago. And no, the rosters aren't completely the same, of course not. But you think they don't remember how that game ended? The controversial call, the holding call, like you don't. I mean, come on. So
I don't know, man.
I love it. I love it. I love that it's a rematch. I like this better than Lions Chiefs, right? Like if the Lions had made it there, I like this better than Lions Chiefs. Um, I know everybody hates Philadelphia, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But as a football team, they're fun, man. They're fun. Saquon Barkley ripping off 75-yard runs. They got two incredible wide receivers. The talent on their defensive side of the ball. Jalen Carter is fun to watch play football. So I listen, my buddy's a big Eagles fan, full disclosure, so I've watched them a lot and I like them. But I just think it's an incredibly talented roster that's fun to watch play football. And on the flip side of that, if you're talking big picture about the Chiefs, they're just a shell of themselves. And you got to give credit to Mahomes for doing enough of what he needs to do to win games and, be 15-2. They've got two blue chip guys, maybe three.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Actually, let's start there. Let's go with the blue chip conversation. How many blue chippers do the Chiefs have?
Blue chippers, Mahomes, Chris Jones.
Yep.
McDuffie.
Yep. That was the third one I was debating. There's a fourth one that I
Creed
can
Humphrey.
think of. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think Creed Humphrey might be the fourth.
Yeah.
But I'm on the fence. Do you think he's truly a blue chip center?
I do. Yeah, Creed Humphrey's legit, man. I think he's the top 2, top 3 center in the league.
So 4 blue chip players for the I almost said the Patriots. Oh,
same thing.
Yeah, I mean, same but different.
Same thing.
All right. So how many blue chippers do you think are on the Eagles?
Saquon, Lane Johnson, left tackle, Jordan Mailata. On the defense, you got defensive tackle. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Jalen Carter. And probably a really good rest of the team on defense, but that's your only blue chipper on defense.
You think so?
I think so. Who else would you throw in there?
Well, so my question was going to be Zach Bond played like a blue chipper,
but he's not. I think scheme elevates.
He's an all-pro.
Play.
He's an all-pro.
Yeah, he is, but he's not a blue chipper. I think he benefited from having an all-star cast around him.
Okay.
Quinyon Mitchell is looking good, but he hasn't done enough yet to be considered a blue chipper. Darius Slay's past his prime.
Yeah.
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
He was a blue chipper that moved too much. I don't know how people didn't give him enough credit. But he used to be a blue chipper and never got it.
Reed Blankenship is just a guy. I mean, he's doing his 111th really well. Josh Sweat is a good defensive end. I would liken him to Groot. He's on that level. Jordan Davis hasn't lived up to his potential.
There's one guy I think you're missing. Yeah, Jordan Davis has been kind of a bummer. I thought he was going to be a blue chipper.
Yeah. Who am I missing?
It's not on that side of the ball. It's on offense.
Okay. Not Jalen Hurts.
No.
Okay. Dallas Goddard. But I don't think he's a blue chipper.
I don't think he's a blue chipper. I think he's close, but not a blue chipper.
AJ Brown. But I don't know. I don't know.
AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I think both of them are like on the edge of blue chipper.
I would agree with that.
I think both of them are like on the edge of blue chipper. I would give it to Devonta Smith. I wouldn't give it to AJ Brown, but that's just me. But I think they're two incredible wide receivers, and together you can call it one extra blue chip.
Okay, that's fair. Neither one of them talent alone says, hey, they're blue chippers, but I mean, I guess this goes back to the Zach Bond thing, right? Like you're just playing with an all-star cast. Now, I will give more respect to their wide receivers, obviously. But yeah, I mean, so okay, if they're not a clear blue chipper, then they're not a blue chipper. Let's just call it at that. They're really good, but they're on the cusp.
I would give it to Devonta Smith. I would say he's a clear blue chipper.
Over AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Nah.
I would have picked AJ Brown maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I agree. Man, you know what though? As we're talking about this, bro, when is the bill gonna come due for the fucking Eagles? Like they have accumulated
this is why
all
Howie
this
Roseman
great talent from drafting, and it's like these guys still got 2-3 years left on deals. And I mean, like they are set up to succeed for a long time.
This is why Howie Roseman deserves a ton of credit, and he took some arrows, man, years ago. He was taking some shit. He has navigated giving a huge quarterback contract to Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep. Train wreck.
Before that, he gave a big deal to Mike Vick.
Well, that was a great move for them.
It worked out great.
It was.
But why did it work out great? I mean, it was the talent on the rest of the roster was great. And this is what the Bills do well. So what Howie does really well is he builds like a solid team and puts blue chippers on it.
Uh-huh.
It's an incredible roster. What the Bills do well is they build a real solid team well. They got to go find the blue chippers now.
Hold on. Can you say that again? Because I think what you just said is the fucking nail on the head. Say it again.
I think it's the difference between the Eagles and the Chiefs. They have a real solid team, and then the Eagles, Howie Roseman has gone and gotten blue chippers.
Yeah.
AJ Brown,
yep.
Jordan Davis. Like he's gone and found these guys in different ways. Like getting Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter wasn't a number 2 overall pick. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
He's picking him at 12. So Howie Roseman has always been really good at that. The Bills are really good at filling out that roster and building a real solid team. They need more blue chippers. I think Kansas City is the opposite. I think Kansas City, we just compared them. They have the same number of blue chip players as the Eagles do. Would you say their roster is anywhere close to Philadelphia's?
No, it's their coaching is what elevates them. And you know what? The funny thing is, we forgot to mention Mekhi Becton. Like Howie Roseman took a chance on Mekhi Becton, who was often injured, playing left tackle. What do? They kick him in the right guard, and he had a hell of a season. Like that's crazy to me.
And
so good.
Listen, man, you could talk about that entire Eagles offensive line.
Yeah,
Mekhi Becton is a great example, but who's the guy who slid over to center when Kelsey went out?
Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. I mean, like their roster is stacked, but top to bottom.
Yeah.
And it's a really, I want to say, interesting scenario because when we talk about betting all the time, what do I say? Who's the better coach? Who's the better quarterback? That's who you should bet.
Right.
Well, today's game, who's the better coach?
Oh, it's Andy Reid all the way.
Who's got the better assistants even? And like
it's the Chiefs. There's no comparison.
Shout out to Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. They've been great, but I'll take Spagnuolo and Nagy over them. Especially if Andy Reid's actually calling the plays.
Fuck
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So, they got the better coaches. They got the better quarterback. I mean, there's no question about it. You, even if you want to say that Jalen Hurts hasn't gotten the credit he's deserved, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So better coach, better quarterback. You should be betting the Chiefs. And why all of a sudden do you have pause? That's how good this Eagles roster is, and that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a really good defense. You know, they don't have a lot of depth, right? I mean, I think that's the trade-off here. But they're good, man. What Harry Roseman has done, you and I've been talking about him for years. Man. And you know what the crazy thing is too is that they're in the NFC where there's no like juggernaut. They are the juggernaut, right? So you're set up. I mean, just think if they were in the AFC, the amount of pressure that team will be under, just from a quarterback standpoint. Like Jalen Hurts is not, you know, the Mahomes, the Allen, the Burrow, the Jackson. Like they would have a harder time in the AFC for sure.
Do you want to know who their AFC equivalent is?
The Bills.
No.
Well, no.
No.
Because their roster isn't that good.
Do you want to know who their AFC equivalent is?
Ravens.
Close. I was going to say the Steelers.
Oh, no, man, because Jalen Hurts is much better than Russell Wilson and Fields.
Yeah, if they could get decent quarterback play, how good would the Steelers be?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
They almost won the division this year with Russell Wilson playing quarterback.
Man.
Their AFC and that's should show you how much harder the AFC is, in my opinion, than the NFC.
I know, man, and that's why I kind of calmed down on Sean McDermott and the Bills and Josh Allen. These guys not making, and even though they had their chance, but I mean, not for a silver lining thing, but man, like you're right there. If you're the Bills, you're right there. Like. You don't need to make drastic, huge moves from a coaching standpoint. Now, you might want to adjust some things, which I think they've done in some of the hires that they've made to supplement that defensive staff, which they're going to play more man coverage. But they're knocking at the door, man. We're right there. It's all good.
You can tell you're hurting.
Oh, I'm hurting big time. But what I'm saying is true, though. It's true.
Because every time we talk about something,
dog,
you bring up the Bills.
I can't help it. How can you not? How can you not? I mean, I'm so consumed with this. Like, and you know, the offseason is my favorite, okay? But I am consumed with this. But yeah, I mean, fuck the Chiefs and fuck the Eagles. Like, I just
I don't see it. I don't have the hate for the Eagles that you do.
Oh, I do. I have massive hate for them.
Well, that's fine.
Because their fan base is trash.
Force you to talk about this game even if you don't want to.
No, because you're a terrible person. You don't care
about
my feelings. You don't care about my feelings right now.
Nah.
So what? We gonna talk betting odds or what?
No. Let's start with you know, we're not going to get super in depth here, but a little in depth breakdown of each side of the ball. So, do you want to start with Chiefs O versus Eagles D, or
let's Eagles offense, Chiefs D. I think this game, you know, the old cliche, you know, the game is won in the trenches. I think this is the time. If the Eagles are going to win this game, they must do this, and that is run the football effectively. I mean, you saw what the Bills were able to do. Good offensive line against the Chiefs. I think the Eagles have a better offensive line. And they got a better halfback, and they got a better overall run scheme. Take your time. You know, there's no need to hurry, and kind of feel out Spags and see what they're going to do on the outside. I mean, you know, if they stack the box to stop Saquon, I think you got opportunities on the outside to exploit their corners.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, you know, I think everything you said about the run game is true, and I think Steve Spagnuolo knows that. And so I think he's going to have to call run blitzes to try to get some stops here because if he just tries to play that Eagles offensive line straight up in the run game, I think he's going to get eaten alive. And Spags is not the kind of guy to just sit there and get eaten alive. You know what I mean? He is going to come at you.
I am interested to see though, like what's going to be their breakdown between gap and zone runs, because I think in this game, if you run more zone, where you let Saquon pick those points of attack, I think that's going to probably be your bread and butter, right? I like it. I really do like it, man. I
think their offensive line thrives in gap runs.
It does, and that's why it's like, okay, can
Like
you?
I want them running power. You know what I mean? Like I want them running duo. I want them running whatever. But
Yeah,
I just think
I get it.
because that offensive line I think can dominate. I don't think you have to. You run zone when your offensive line can't necessarily win, and you're trying to. I feel like trick the
I,
defense for lack of a better term.
I don't know. I don't know.
I do. You get them all moving one
Yeah,
direction, right? And you let the running back choose, and you damned if you do, damned
but
if you
isn't
don't
that
is what
what
you're
makes
trying to tell me.
Saquon so dangerous? Is that he is elite at both, right?
Well,
And
I mean, he's just a dude. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
he's
I think he might
incredible.
be, even with Patrick Mahomes on the field, he might be the most dude of anybody on the field. The whole I'm him thing.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be won by coaching, though. That's what keeps the Chiefs in this game. I mean, Andy Reid, Spags, like it's an impressive combo, man.
So, all right. So to finish what I was saying before, I
Mm-hmm.
think Spags is going to design some run blitzes to try to stop the Eagles' running game.
Yeah,
If he does that, it's going to be on Jalen Hurts to hit A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith one-on-one. Right?
and that's where you're going to have a problem.
Why? It should be simple, right? Like he should be throwing into blitzes. You should have single coverage. You have almost blue chip wide receivers, right? Like we just talked about how much talent they have. You just have to not miss. You know what I mean?
Well, and you're right, but like Jalen Watson is a good corner. See, he has the body type to match up with AJ Brown. I'm not saying he's gonna take away one part of the field, but Jalen Watson's a 6'2" corner, lengthy. I think he can mirror match with AJ Brown. So he's not going to get overpowered, right?
Yeah, but then you've got Trent McDuffie on Devonta.
Which I like Trent McDuffie in that matchup.
Dude, stop it.
Trent McDuffie's a really, really, really good corner. What are you saying?
He's a fantastic corner. He does not have the speed to run with Devonta Smith.
It's not the speed with Devontae. It's his. He's such a good route runner. He's never been like a burner.
He's got a good amount of speed, and I don't think McDuffie's got enough speed to keep.
I think he can. I really do think he can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
We see eye to eye on most things. We don't normally have
Devontae Smith
like
has never.
Fundamentally.
I think he's more quick than he is fast. So he's quick,
Okay.
but I mean, you want to talk about a route running clinic? Devontae Smith in Alabama was just cooking everybody. It wasn't, and I don't think it was the speed.
Okay. All right. So I think we both agree it's going to come down to two things. One, can Jalen Hurts throw into a blitz effectively? Because Spags is going to be bringing it, whether it's just a standard blitz or a run blitz. I think Spags is going to be bringing the pressure because that's what he does.
But I didn't get your opinion on Jalen Hurts necessarily because I kind of start talking. Where are you at on the Jalen Hurts spectrum? Like, do you think he's what? Where do you see him in the range of 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL? Where do you place him?
Top 10.
Okay, so you're higher on him than I am.
Maybe.
Okay.
Do you not put him in the top 10?
I don't. I have him in like the 10 to 15 range.
Now listen, that takes into account his legs, right? Like what he ran for a 80-yard touchdown, 75-yard touchdown versus the Commanders. You know what I mean? Like it takes into account his legs too. But I think until Jaden Daniels got there, he might have been the best quarterback in the NFC. No, I'd probably take Matt Stafford over him.
Yeah, I was going to say Matt Stafford.
I'll take Stafford over him. So he's the third best quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, So I think he gets too much hate. I think all the arguments that people make about Lamar Jackson and people hating on Lamar Jackson are the actual arguments that are people are making about Jalen Hurts.
That I like that.
Because I
I
don't think
like
anybody
that.
actually thinks that Lamar Jackson is just a running back playing
Right.
quarterback. Blah,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But I do think people think that about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but here's the thing with Jalen, man. Like Jalen doesn't elevate. Like he is
He doesn't.
surrounded. He's insulated by so many good pieces around him. That's not his fault. But I just
But
think he's a little overrated, though.
do you know who does elevate?
Mahomes,
26.
Allen, Saquon, yeah, Saquon, dude.
Saquon is one of the rare dudes who does not play quarterback who elevates the guys around him because you have to worry about him. It's like Jokic in basketball, dog.
Yeah,
Like you have to know where he is all the time and what he is doing and come up with a game plan specifically to stop Saquon Barkley. And all Jalen Hurts has to do then is play point guard. Like you
yeah,
just need to be able to distribute to your wide receivers and tight end when they're completely focused on 26.
yeah, yeah. That's why I think like Shador Sanders or Cam Ward are better for the Eagles than Jalen Hurts is for the Eagles.
Whoa, what is this that you're doing?
I'm just saying because you have, I think Shador
Oh my
and Cam. I
goodness.
know Shador and Cam Ward. They have the point guard. They can do it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to. If you have Saquon in the backfield, you don't have to run the ball, but they can. But they're not. I mean, they're not as good as Jalen Hurts running the football. But in terms of just being a passer of the football, I like those two better in the Eagles' offense. That's all I'm saying.
So Jalen Hurts and 2 first-round picks to Cleveland for the right to draft Shador Sanders is what you're saying?
I do it. I do it.
These crazy things.
I know it sounds crazy, but if you take Jalen Hurts and isolate him by himself, you know, from just playing the quarterback position, I like some things that Shador and Cam have to offer.
Even if you don't have as you don't think of him as highly as I do, you've got to admit that you have him as a top half of the league quarterback, and that's not easy to find.
No, it's not easy to find, but I think it's easier to find than in years past with these quarterbacks coming in, right? And I think you running the football is great as a quarterback, but man, you have to be able to thread that ball, thread the needle, and make big time throws. And I just don't see Hurts as that kind of quarterback, man. I just don't. Maybe he, today proves me wrong, but with those weapons around him, I just think he should be better than he is. That's just my opinion. I know.
Right.
Eagles fans probably hate me, but that's
We have
okay.
talked. We're about to switch. So just before we do, we've talked about Eagles O versus Chiefs D, and we have not mentioned Chris Jones one time. And I will not let that
Who?
stand.
Who is that?
I will not let that stand as we get ready to transition to Chiefs O versus Eagles D. We just have to mention Chris Jones here. I think it's going to be a tough game for him to affect the ways that he has in years past. The offensive line that they have is stellar. I do not expect there to be a ton of Chiefs fans
Yeah.
there. It being their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years. I don't think this is why ticket prices were falling. I don't think people were as interested in going. So I don't think when the Eagles are on offense, it's going to be deafening in the Superdome. So that offensive line is going to be able to communicate. And I think they've got enough talent to minimize the impact that Chris Jones can make. And then, what do you do with any great defensive lineman, especially when there's only one of them?
Run right at him.
You run right at him. Yeah, and that's gonna be the game plan today. I feel like so. He's no doubt a blue chip player, but I just don't think he's gonna be overly effective today. What about you?
Well, and he hasn't been overly effective in these kind of games. Like you look at the production. I mean, I think he does a really good job affecting the quarterback, but he hasn't really gotten home in these games like this. So, but I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be a major force today. I mean,
Yeah.
the offensive line for the Eagles is, like we said, is really good.
So lock it in, Super Bowl MVP Chris Jones, because we both don't think he's going to do
No,
anything
no,
today.
God.
All right, let's flip over to the other side of the ball. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. For me, the story here is
Yeah,
old wide receivers versus young cornerbacks, and I think that's going to really make the difference.
we're talking D Hop and Kelsey.
D Hop, Kelsey, Hollywood Brown. I know he's not old, but those vet wide receivers,
Juju, yeah, I can see
Juju Smith
that.
Schuster versus Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. You throw Slay in there, who's definitely a savvy vet, but I think that's the matchup. And if I think that's the matchup, that's 50-50. And if it breaks the way of the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs win the game. And if it breaks the way of the Eagles, I think the Eagles win the game.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think Xavier Worthy is a weapon that you're going to see more of today. I think getting him the ball behind the line of scrimmage and seeing how he can work and be effective. I think that if the Chiefs are going to win this Super Bowl, they got to be able to run the football. And I think that's where they're going to have a hard time because that front for the Eagles is really good. So I guess you ask yourself, okay, do ratio 2-to-1 pass, right? And you kind of just figure it out. But if you can't run the football, I think you're going to have some. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Mahomes.
It's I just against this defensive line, I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
They've got great linebackers. They've got a great defensive line. That front seven is brutal. Zach Bond is an all-pro. Jalen Carter, I think, is an all-pro, right?
Yeah, I got one for you. You haven't mentioned him. Nolan Smith. I think his speed, is going to be really hard for the Chiefs to deal with today. Him and Zach Bond together, I think one of those two, if there's an MVP on defense, I think it'll be one of those two today.
And there's thought that Brandon Graham might get in for some pass rushing snaps too.
Yep, that's a guy that you can rush from, the inside. You can throw him, obviously he plays defensive end, but you've seen him win multiple ways, Grizzly vet. So, okay.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, not my favorite player.
Not worried about him.
But isn't he the one who had the holding call on him 2 years ago?
I don't remember.
I think it was him.
Was it him?
I think it was him. So there's just going to be, I think, a little extra hate there.
Uh-huh.
And he's a guy who's fueled by that, no doubt. I mean, he's an emotional player. So this Eagles defense, I think, is stacked. I think Vic Fangio has had plans to stop Patrick Mahomes that have worked for years. I think he gave a little bit of a blueprint to the league to kind of minimize the effectiveness. Everybody runs his too high shell now. I think he's going to have a game plan that fits this moment. The thing that you can't cover for is 15. I mean, he's just right. It's the witch and the wizard. 15 is a witch. He's got a wizard calling the plays. And it's just the ultimate wild card, man. It's just the ultimate.
God, it sucks.
Do you want to bet against this? Do you really want to bet against this? Do you want to bet against Brady and Belichick?
And I won't. I even though as much as our conversation talking about this game, we kind of like are agreeing like the Eagles have every opportunity and shot to win from a roster standpoint. But when it comes down to it, all right, are you gonna make more plays than Mahomes? I don't think so. Covering Kelsey now, Kelsey's Who's going to cover Kelsey?
Probably CJGJ. Probably.
I'll take Kelsey every day on that.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So
he's not going to win athletically.
no, not athletically.
So
CJ is a really good athlete.
You got to hope that Gardner Johnson, in his veteran savvy, is smart enough to hang with Travis Kelsey. But it'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
And then special teams wise, I don't know. There's not really anything of note to me. I'm trying to
Two good
think.
kickers, that's whatever.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything worth changing who you're going to bet on based on.
I hate
this.
Hate it.
Eagles plus 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Even on the money line.
Yep.
Who you taking?
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Because you love to be miserable.
Yeah, it's sticking in my veins. And I hate that. I would love for the Eagles to win this game. Well, that's an overstatement.
Give me the game script here. Tell me what you think happens.
I think the Eagles get out to an early lead. Halftime is going to be a 3 or 4 point game. Let's say it's going to be like 17-13 or 20-16. I think there's going to be a little back and forth in the third, and then the fourth quarter, it'll be a 1-score game still. I think the Chiefs pull out a touchdown with like 4 minutes to go, and the Eagles they're not going to be able to do it. I think Saquon's going to start this game off like gangbusters. I think he's going to get you excited. But I think Spags is going to adjust. I think it's going to come down to what plays can Jalen Hurts make with his arm. And I think that's what's going to kill him today.
Really?
Yeah. And then we haven't even talked about the refs. So if it's close, the refs are going to do what they do. Well, I know you hate it, but it's true.
I think it's more likely that the refs are incompetent overall than
incompetent, shady, it's their thing. So if it's stupidity or just poor officiating or conspiracy, the outcome is the same.
All right, well, I like the Eagles. I've already placed a bet on them.
You did?
Yeah, but I bought it up.
Okay, tell me.
I bought it up. I bought it to 2.5 points, minus 130 when I bought it.
Okay.
So I dropped a hundo on that. And that's my my bet for the game.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. Rob.
Yeah.
You bet $100 on the Super Bowl.
I'm going to bet more on the Super Bowl. Doc, I've told you this. I put money in at the beginning of the season. I have not put money in since then. Oh, that's not true. I think I put in $10 last week. I put in money at the beginning of the season, and then it lasts me all year long.
Okay, well, if you're doing that, then I gotta. You know what? I'm gonna do my live drive. I'm gonna do my live drive betting. That's what I'm gonna do today.
I know you are.
But hold on. Let me. You can help me with this. Let me put a little parlay in for this game.
Well, before we get to the parlays, I do want to talk about prop bets that we like.
Okay.
But I have the Eagles. I bought it up to 2.5. I'm gonna be looking to middle, right? Like I'm gonna be, because I think the game script goes the same way that yours went. In your head, where the Eagles jump out to an early lead. And when the Eagles jump out to an early lead and I can get the Chiefs with more than a field goal, I'm going to go take it. Because I just think between these two teams, the Eagles have enough talent to keep it close, and the Chiefs have the quarterback to keep it close. And I do think this game is a tight one. So I'm betting on being able to middle that game at some point. I've got some props that I like that I'll talk to you about, but as far as the game goes, I wasn't comfortable with just 1.5, and I didn't want to just place a money line bet. So I bought mine up at minus 130. I threw $100 on the Eagles.
And what's the payout on that?
It's minus 130, so it's like 170. Let's see. 176.92 is the payout on that.
Mm.
So let's go through some prop bets that we like.
Okay.
First, let's talk Super Bowl MVP. Man, I love Saquon here at plus 240.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Eagles win,
it's because of him.
Right. And so, Jalen Hurts is always there looming in the background. If the Eagles win, you have to think he has a good game. But I think there's just too many storylines around Saquon for him not to be the MVP if they find a way to win this game. So I really like the value at Saquon Barkley at plus 240. Do you have anybody else that you would look at there?
Ooh, Mahomes.
I mean, you can get some real steep odds if you go with like AJ Brown or Devonta Smith. AJ Brown's plus 3,500, Devonta Smith plus 6,600, Jalen Carter's plus 6,600.
I'll take AJ Brown. Was it 50 yards receiving?
Oh, now you're just getting into regular props. I was just asking about.
You want to do? I mean, I think
MVP.
if it's Super Bowl, here are the MVPs. It's either Mahomes or Saquon.
I think Hurts got an outside shot, but that's what the odds say too. The odds say exactly that.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to get into straight props now? Let's go. And then
let's go.
We'll do TD scores at the end. Okay, so you like AJ Brown? What over?
Over. What's that number? 60? 65?
Hold on. That's rushing yards. I need receiving. AJ Brown over 70.5 yards is minus 115. That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't like that.
What do you have on? What do you got? I'm on BetMGM. You're on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. For me,
Saquon over on the rushing yards.
Yeah, well,
was it 98?
I was gonna save this till the end.
Okay,
but I can bring it up now. So hold on, let me find out what the rushing prop is. So rushing yards, 110.5 is your over under, and it's minus 130 for Saquon.
It's 111.5 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, see, you're trying to pick super obvious stuff here. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to tell you that I went into alternate rushing yards. This is on BetMGM. This is my parlay my parlay pick, the one that I love. Saquon Barkley to rush for over 175 yards is plus 475. I'm going to bet it. I'm going to bet it. Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna because you think it's out of the question that man goes for 200 today?
Dog, that against a Spags defense.
Do you think it's out of the question that man goes for 200?
Yes.
It's worth $5, dog. That's worth $5. 175 is not even a crazy number. Not for him. His regular over under rushing yards is 111. That's one more big run than if you're betting the over at minus 130.
Oh man,
that's what I'm saying, dog. Like
I hate you right now
because I'm right. You hate me because I'm right. It's worth $2 or $5,
okay,
whatever. You know what I mean?
Let's see what this pay. Okay, hold on. So we're taking
Throw
Saquon.
$1 on it.
We're taking Saquon Barkley on what now?
So mine is under alternate rushing yards.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find mine then.
And I just think, listen, if you're going to bet at minus 130, if you're going to bet him to go over 111 yards, why not take the incredible odds of him hitting one more big run than you think he's going to rush for the game anyway and getting over 175? And listen, even if you only went over 150, it's plus 250 for that. So I like these Saquon
I'm not seeing it
crazy
on
rushing
mine.
totals. Not saying I think it's a lock. I'm just saying it's worth a couple bucks for me to bet. The next prop that I like, also under rushing props, if you go to longest rush. So Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, longest rush, are both 12 and a half yards.
They both get that.
I think I would be comfortable betting both of them. Now, listen, it's minus money, right? But if you're trying to put together a parlay and you need some props, Patrick Mahomes is minus 135 for his longest rush to be over 12 and a half yards. Jalen Hurts is minus 118 for his longest rush to be over 12 and a half yards. I like both of those.
Yeah,
I
are
think,
good.
I think either one of those, if you want to put them into a parlay, I think that's good. You got any other props that you want to talk about? I got one more.
Oh. First touchdown score.
No, I said we would get into touchdown scores at the end. Why do you always just don't even fucking listen to me? Any other props that you want to talk about?
No.
All right, my last prop that I like, Devonta Smith, longest reception. It's minus 110 for over 20.5 yards. So a 21-yard reception.
I take it.
Another great piece, another great leg to a parlay, I think. I wouldn't bet it straight up because it's minus money. It's minus 110. But it would be another leg that I would throw into a parlay. I think Devonta Smith getting a 25-yard reception is easy.
Yeah.
So I like that. It's funny because longest reception for A.J. Brown is 24 and a half yards, and I don't like that one. But I do like Devonta Smith with a 21-yard or better catch. So those are the props that I like as I was looking through. All right, now let's talk TD scores. You want to go first? I'm not a big first touchdown scorer, but go ahead.
And it's a sucker bet. It's a big time sucker bet.
Go ahead.
I think Jalen Hurts gets your first touchdown.
He's plus 650 on mine.
He's plus 475 on mine.
Oof, you should get on BetMGM. Plus 650 for a first touchdown scorer, Jalen Hurts.
Tush push.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why his anytime number is minus 120. Because of that tush push. Excuse me. All right, yeah, so for first touchdown scorer, he likes Hurts. If you made me pick one.
Hurts, Saquon. For the Chiefs, it's Worthy, Gray.
Kareem Hunt is plus 900 is the lowest odds for me. You know what? For first TD scorer, Patrick Mahomes is plus 1,800 on mine.
Oh yeah, that would be.
I might do that if I was looking to bet a first TD score. But Hurts at plus 650 is pretty good. I would probably do that. I'd probably go with you.
Yeah, let's see.
And then for any time.
Mahomes first touchdown score at 1,800.
You have the same?
Yep, same here.
What about for any time touchdown score? Anything that you like here that's a little...
Anytime touchdown score. I think Kelsey. It's probably a good bet there.
Plus 130?
Yeah, I would take that. And that's probably it for...
I like Dallas Goedert.
That's
plus 333.
He's 285 on this one.
So I like him for an anytime touchdown score. I feel like at some point they're going to need to throw when they get down in that red zone. and the Chiefs linebackers are not known for being great in coverage. So give me Dallas Goedert with an anytime TD plus 333.
I like it.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
What else you got for me, big dog?
We got to endure this game.
I'm fine.
The halftime show will be good, though. Kendrick?
Oh, look at him. Did you see the video game meme? The halftime show would be good.
Yeah.
Sits up in his chair.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then apparently
Did
Elon has paid a ton of money for some ads about Doge.
Did you see if he's going to perform Not Like Us?
That's what I want to know. I don't know.
So for those of you that don't know, there's a lawsuit right now from Drake, since he calls him a pedophile in the song. There's a lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit, and so they didn't know if they were going to allow him to perform it at the halftime show. I don't know how you don't. Like, you have to. And
dog.
But I think they force him to take that line out.
Man, that's trash if they do.
I mean, how can you just let him walk up there and call Drake a pedophile on the Super Bowl stage?
Hey, man. Oh, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to be tuned in and see what the hell happens there.
Oh, I don't disagree with that at all.
Did you see Drake came out? He was doing a show recently, and he had a shirt on that had bullet holes, and it was smoking.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, this guy, Drake, he's so corny with that stuff.
Well, it's the first ever rap diss track to win a Grammy, so you know.
Yeah.
What I mean? So good for him.
Are you wearing a Bills jersey today while you watch the game?
I'm gonna be at my house. I'm gonna be lucky if I have a shirt on.
Okay.
My
brisket's probably burning up.
Wow. Didn't have the wife check it for you?
She left. She went to fucking Nordstrom's. You know, like, woman.
With a brisket in the
you can't see, you know, right? Like, I'm working here, you know? Like,
what are we doing here?
Golly.
All right, mental health guy asked, wasn't too many shows during last offseason. Will it be the same this year? That comment came in a while back, but I'm just letting you know that he's calling your ass out, Sterls.
Well, I'm not taking a break, so I think we probably should.
Because Sterls,
I think our Tuesday show
last year, I was all on you.
I know. This year, I'm not taking a break.
All right.
So our Tuesday, so what we'll tell the listeners, tune in on Tuesdays, and we'll do a combination because Rob and I are gonna talk offseason plans. You're gonna hear a lot about the NFL draft and free agency.
That one's, despite how much we talked about the Bills today, that one's more Bills centric.
Yeah, more Bill centric. I don't know. So I mean, we can figure something out. I mean, it would be nice to get another day back. What do you want to do? You want to do this show on Saturday or Sunday?
I'm not nailing you to anything here.
No,
dog.
I'm asking you.
I'm just telling you that he said there wasn't too many shows last offseason. Will it be the same this year?
No.
I will tell you that our goal is to make that not the case. We still want to do weekly stuff. And so we'll see how it all comes together. But
no, we're doing weekly stuff, Rob.
Listen, you said that last year. I said, great. I said, here's all the information.
Listen.
Let's come up with something and do it. And then
we're doing it. We're doing it.
What happened?
I know. I got burnt out. I was burnt out.
All right. Well, so we'll see. That's as comfortable. It's as comfortable as I am with putting it out there.
That's fine.
We'll see.
We'll be doing our show, Mental Health Guys. So you can
always bother us on social media. Hit us up there. I'm at Rob T Radio.
I'm at Furrowh Sterling everywhere, whatever. You can find me there. But I tell you this though, this is the most fun part of the football season for me. I do like what we're heading into.
I'm glad you're excited about the Super Bowl.
No. Fuck Super Bowl. Starting tomorrow, okay? Starting tomorrow.
You heard it right from his mouth. He's hyped about this game, excited for the Super Bowl. Hey, listen, I think it's going to be a good game, and I think it'll be fun. I don't know. You always say that. I don't know what Super Bowl somebody was like, this is going to be a total ass beating. But,
I mean, we haven't seen one of those in a long time.
Not that long. 10 years?
That's a long time.
The Broncos one was an absolute beatdown. Broncos
Yeah.
Saints, or Broncos Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Has there been any ass beatings since then?
Not that I can recall.
The Bucks got the Chiefs pretty good that one year. It's like 24-9 or something like that.
That's true.
Yeah, that one was over quick. Anyways. All right, well, hopefully we get a good game. And anything else you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Eat a brisket today. Eat some wings. You know, if you're a Bills fan like me, you're gonna need some comfort food in your house for your family. Don't sit there and not do it. Just treat yourself,
I
okay?
think it's a great day to start your diet.
Hell no.
Maybe go with some veggies.
Yeah, Rob wants to eat kale. He
Yeah.
probably is gonna do that today. I am
Maybe
not.
Carrots.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
Yeah. Some hummus maybe.
I'm about to go make this mac and cheese. And you know what? I don't use water for my, like I use chicken broth.
Yeah, that's the key to Thanksgiving dinner.
Chicken broth. Let them noodles.
Dead serious. You making mashed potatoes? Chicken broth. You making stuffing? Chicken broth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key.
Yep. Delicious.
Just hope you don't invite over any vegetarians.
Who?
Right.
I don't know any people like that.
All right, brother. Anything
Hey,
else?
you're
before
more
we get
than
out of
welcome
here?
to come down.
Oh, he throws out the invite 4 hours before game time.
Bro, you always have it. You
Just
always have.
Drop everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
come down.
Yeah, you should.
I don't think so. I'm too busy. I'm a busy guy.
Wow. Boy, I swear. Try to break bread with him. He won't go out with me. He won't come down.
Yeah,
It's
I'm into
just-
women, so I won't go out with you. You're right.
You're stupid. You're stupid. I've been trying to fix that for you, dog.
What? Make me not into women?
No.
I'd be a whole lot more successful in my dating life if I wasn't.
Well, I mean, we're working on it, man.
Fellas love the big fat dudes. You know what I mean?
Hey, man. They do. They do.
All right, we've gone off the rails here. We're
All
getting
right,
out of here.
all right.
We appreciate everybody for watching all year long, and we definitely will be back during the off season. Keep an eye here and on the Buffalo Media Network YouTube channel, and we'll have content everywhere. So make sure you're keeping your eye out. Okay, everybody. We love you. Enjoy the game, and as always,
Go Bills.
go Bills.